Right. So what is covalent bond, and which theories explain the formation of covalent bond? So already we have completed this. Let's see briefly what is a covalent bond. The bond which is formed by mutual first contribution and sharing of pair of electrons. So the bond which is formed by mutual contribution and sharing, first contribute then share. Like for example, take atom A, it has one electron, atom B has one electron. Atom A contribute one electron, it's one electron. Atom B contributes its one electron, it become what? So two electrons are contributed now. But atom A require two electron, atom B require two electron each for stability. Therefore, after contribution one each, they share. It means these two electron. So atom A feels these two electron its, but atom also feels. So these two electron belongs to B. But actually, those two electrons are belongs to atom A and atom B. This is covalent bond. Therefore, in formation of covalent bond, two phenomena takes place simultaneously. First is contribution. Next is sharing. Therefore, a bond which is formed by contribution and sharing of pair of electron is called covalent bond. Next, to explain the covalent bond, there are theories have been proposed. Can you tell me what are the theories proposed? One, Lewis Langmuir theory, right? It is completed now. Next is VBT, valence bond theory. Valence bond theory. Next is molecular orbital theory, and we have one more theory is VSEPR theory. Okay, so this is a advanced theory compared to VBT. Okay, VSEPR theory also we study. This is called valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. In short, it is called VSEPR theory. Next, fourth one is MOT. What is MOT? Molecular orbital theory, right? MOT. So MOT is a advanced theory compared to all. So in previous class we have completed Lewis Langmuir theory. Tell me one word about Lewis Langmuir theory. What Lewis Langmuir theory explains, and what is the importance of this Lewis Langmuir theory? According to Lewis Langmuir theory, how the covalent bond is formed? The same thing. According to Lewis Langmuir theory, a covalent bond is formed by mutual contribution and sharing of pair of electron between two atoms. Right? So for example, hydrogen, the formation of hydrogen, tell me how the hydrogen will form? H plus H gives rise to H2. In hydrogen atom we know that it has one electron. So take another hydrogen atom, it also has one electron. That means there are two hydrogen atoms each having one electron. But is it hydrogen atom is stable? No. When the atom is stable? When atom has 8 electron, that is octet rule. So atoms or ion try to gain 8 electron in its valence shell to attain octet configuration. So therefore, now tell me, is it having 8 electron? No. But there is one exception, helium. So helium is a stable due to doublet electronic configuration. Helium has only 2 electron, but it is most stable due to doublet or duplet electronic configuration. Therefore, here each hydrogen try to attain at least 2 electron to become stable. So therefore, what they do? This hydrogen contribute first 1 electron. This hydrogen also contribute its 1 electron. Okay, they are not donating, they are contributing. After contribution, they share these 2 electron equally, right? Then it forms a bond called H single bond H. So this is according to Lewis Langmuir theory. This is also we have completed. Okay, next is, so today class we need to start from valency bond theory, right? We have not studied valence bond theory, VSEPR theory, MOT theory. Okay. We'll start from VBT. Next. Valence bond theory. Important. Valence bond theory. It is also called VBT. Come on, tell me. This VBT was proposed by Hitler and London. It was proposed by who proposed? Hitler and London. Not history Hitler. Notice his history Hitler is different. He is chemist. So proposed by Hitler and London, but later it was developed by Pauling. Where you have studied this name, Pauling name? Very good. The electronegativity is determined by Pauling. Pauling scale we have now. Okay, same Pauling. So therefore, it is proposed by Hitler and London, but it was developed by Pauling. Then we have some important assumptions. Written are postulates of VBT, valence bond theory. Right. To understand applications, you need to understand first what are the postulates. Then only you can understand the applications. Let's see what are the postulates of VBT. Do you know this VBT, valence bond theory, explains the formation of covalent bond, right? It explains what? Formation of covalent bond. So VBT explains the formation of covalent bond. It is based on the concept of atomic orbital. He used what concept? Atomic orbital. How atomic orbital overlap, how they combine, what they form. So therefore, this concept is completely based on atomic orbital concept, right? So therefore, write one point. This theory is based on, or this theory explains the formation of covalent bond. This theory explains the formation of covalent bond based on concept of atomic orbital and electronic configuration, of course. This theory is based on concept of atomic orbital and electronic configuration. Okay. Now listen carefully. What is the first postulate? The first assumption is a covalent bond is always formed by overlapping of atomic orbital having unpaired electrons. What did it explain? It explains that a covalent bond is always formed by overlapping of atomic orbital. There must be a overlapping of atomic orbital, but those atomic orbital must have what? Unpaired electrons. Like they should not have paired electron. Next, second, listen first carefully. Second assumption. Second assumption is the atomic orbital which are going to overlap, they must have unpaired electron, of course, that too with opposite spin. Right. For example, say if atom take, this is one s orbital, it is overlapping, one more s orbital. If these two are overlapping, these two have unpaired electron, but not like this. One should have unpaired electron clockwise, another should have unpaired electron anti-clockwise. Then only overlapping is possible. Right? It is a second assumption. So what is the first assumption? A covalent bond is always formed by overlapping of atomic orbital having unpaired electron. Next, those unpaired electron must be what? Opposite spin. Next, third assumption. Third assumption says what is the strength of covalent bond? The strength of the covalent bond always depends on extent of overlapping. If these two orbital overlap maximum, there will be a greater extent of overlapping, more will be the bond strength. That means a strength of covalent bond is depends on what? Extent of overlapping. If they overlap maximum, their bond is stronger bond. Extent of bond is, strength of the bond is strong. Okay, next, what is the order of overlapping? So remember, PP overlapping is always stronger than SP overlapping, and next is SS overlapping. So this is the overlapping of orbital, and their extent of overlapping is maximum in PP, minimum is SS. Next point, when a covalent bond is formed, this is we know it. When a covalent bond is formed, then what happen? The energy of atom always decreases. Yes or no? A bond is formed, energy of the atom decreases. Hence, molecule get stability. Okay. Then finally, we have types of overlapping: SS overlapping, SP overlapping, PP overlapping. Next, the overlapping of orbital, again two types. The overlapping of orbital along the internuclear axis. If you overlap orbital along internuclear axis, called axial overlapping. So the overlapping of orbital takes place along the internuclear axis is called axial overlapping. Then if the overlapping of orbital takes place perpendicular to the internuclear axis is called what? Sideways overlapping, lateral overlapping. So these are the assumptions. Okay. So now let's write one by one. Come on, tell me. First point. A covalent bond is formed by overlapping of atomic orbitals having unpaired electrons. Write down. A covalent bond is formed by overlapping of atomic orbitals having unpaired electrons. Yes or no? A covalent bond must be formed by overlapping of atomic orbital having unpaired electron. Next, second assumption. Then of course they should have unpaired electron. How they should have unpaired electron? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? Anti-clockwise means opposite spin. It means the orbital which are going to overlap must have unpaired electron with opposite spin. Right on. The orbital which are going to overlap must have unpaired electrons with opposite spin. Must have electron with opposite spin. Okay. Next, how this is? You can write one example also here. For example, take this is s orbital, another s orbital. Okay, this s orbital has 1s1, take 1s1. So each s orbital having one electron each. So this has one unpaired, this has one unpaired. How they should be? If one is a clockwise, it should be anti-clockwise. Then they overlap, they form bond or not? So this portion is what? Covalent bond or not? Overlapping. So this portion has two electrons. How they two electrons? One is clockwise, another is anti-clockwise. Right? So this is a covalent bond. Next, third assumption. So what is the third postulate? Extent, very good. Extent of overlapping, right? Then tell me, the extent of overlapping or strength of covalent bond depends on what? Extent of overlapping. When the covalent bond becomes stronger? When this extent of overlapping is maximum or more, then the strength of the covalent bond become more. So the next one, right? The strength of covalent bond depends on extent of overlapping of orbital, that is higher the extent of overlapping, what is more? Strength of the covalent bond, greater will be the strength of covalent bond. Right, like this, greater will be the strength of covalent bond. Okay, can you tell me what is the order of overlapping of orbitals? So which orbitals have greater overlapping, less overlapping? So what is the order of overlapping? Remember, so PP overlapping always has greater overlapping. Then next is SP overlapping, next is SS overlapping. Now question is like this: a sigma bond is formed by SS overlapping, SP overlapping, PP overlapping. Which is stronger, sigma bond? A covalent bond is formed by these three overlapping, SS, SP and PP. Which covalent bond is stronger? Obviously PP, because in case of PP bond, so the extent of overlapping is maximum. There is a maximum portion is overlap. Okay. Next, fourth point. Fourth point is, when covalent bond is formed, what happens? The energy of the atom usually decreases. Not only covalent bond, if any bond is formed, the energy of the atom is reduces or decreases. Therefore, molecule formed become more stable. Obviously, right. When covalent bond is formed, energy of atom decreases. Energy of atom decreases. As a result, molecule become what? As a result, molecule become more stable. Next, fifth point. So this is important, fifth point. Come on, tell me. Here overlapping of orbital is important. In order to form covalent bond, two orbital must overlap. If there is no overlap, no covalent bond, right? There should be a overlapping must in between two atom or two orbital, so get covalent bond. Next, the overlapping along the internuclear axis is called axial overlapping. So usually we wrote these two terms later. What is axial overlapping? What is sideways overlapping? Sideways overlapping also called lateral overlapping. So therefore, come on, tell me, what is axial overlapping? Axial overlapping means the overlapping of orbital takes place along the internuclear axis. If it is along the internuclear axis, axial. If it is perpendicular to the internuclear axis, along the internuclear axis is what? Axial. Perpendicular to the internuclear axis is called what? Sideways. Then you must know what is the meaning of internuclear axis. Anybody? What is the meaning of internuclear axis? See, in a molecule usually z axis is arbitrarily taken as a internuclear axis. Usually in a molecule, z axis is fixed. It is what? Internuclear axis. Then, so what is the meaning of z axis? If you take a molecule like this, molecule has 3D structure. right? You just imagine there are three orbitals px, px, py, pz, right? This is a px, white is a px, yellow is a py, blue is a pz. So this pz axis, no, this pz axis, it is arbitrarily fixed. Which axis it is? Internuclear axis. So therefore remember, molecule always moves along the internuclear axis like this, it like this. Then you may have doubt, how does molecule know that it has internuclear axis? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಗೆ ಇದೇ internuclear axis ಅಂತ? ಇದೇ ಥರ, why it should go like this only? Molecule does not have that kind of memory, that kind of, what do you say, its movement. So suppose if molecule move like this is called internuclear axis. If molecule move like this is called internuclear axis. You understand? Internuclear axis is not fixed, but we take what? Z axis. Therefore in whichever direction molecule is moving, that direction we take Z axis. Finish. You understand? So that is what? Internuclear axis. Therefore remember, yeah, Z axis is a what? Internuclear axis. Now question is this: what is the axial overlapping? The overlapping takes place along the internuclear axis. Now suppose if you take Z axis, this blue axis Z, okay, blue axis is Z axis, then what about this yellow and white? They are perpendicular or not? They are perpendicular. If Z axis is a internuclear axis, can I say white axis and this yellow is a perpendicular to what? Z axis, right? So therefore axial overlapping is what? The overlapping of orbital takes place along the internuclear axis. Next, what is the sideways overlapping? Right on. Fifth point, axial overlapping. The overlapping of orbital takes place along the internuclear axis. Along the internuclear axis called which axis? Which overlapping? Axial overlapping. And perpendicular to the internuclear axis called what? Sideways overlapping or lateral overlapping. Lateral overlapping, sideways overlapping. Okay, now next, can you tell me, among axial overlapping and sideways overlapping, which overlapping gives stronger bond? Which overlapping is maximum? Whether axial overlapping or sideways? Axial. Right on. The overlapping of axial overlapping of orbital, the axial overlapping of orbital forms stronger covalent bond. The axial overlapping of orbital forms stronger covalent bond compared to sideways overlapping of orbital. Sideways overlapping of orbitals. Okay. Types of overlapping. So usually overlapping classified into three types. One, SS overlapping. Take down. Two, SP overlapping. Three, what? PP overlapping. So this VBT theory explains 3 overlappings. We don't have d orbital overlapping. Right, so therefore SS overlapping, SP overlapping, and third one is PP overlapping. Can you tell me what is SS overlapping? If the overlapping of orbital takes place between two s atomic orbitals, which must have unpaired electrons. Very good, unpaired electrons. Right. If the overlapping of orbital takes place between two s atomic orbital having unpaired electrons each. Here, what about sPz? If the overlapping of orbital takes place between, it is a unpaired s orbital having unpaired and p also unpaired. Both should have half filled, no? Unpaired electron each. Then what about pp? If the overlapping of orbital takes place between two half filled or two p orbital having unpaired electron. That means if the overlapping takes place between two s orbital is SS, s and p is sp overlapping. If the overlapping takes place between two p orbital having unpaired electron is nothing but pp overlapping. Can you tell me example for SS overlapping where we study formation of H2 hydrogen SS overlapping, because hydrogen molecule has two hydrogen atom, right? So hydrogen atom both are having s orbital, they overlap. Next, formation of example, this is tell me formation of HF or even HCl, all HF, HX, no, HCl, HBr, HI, etc. So here H has s orbital, F has p orbital, s and p overlap. Next, tell me example for this. You can take F2, formation of F2, formation of Cl2, because F2, Cl2, Br2, I2 are having two p orbital, p orbital of fluorine, p orbital of this fluorine overlap, right? Not. So write down SS overlapping. If the overlapping of orbital takes place between two half filled s atomic orbital, two half filled s atomic orbital called SS overlapping. Two half filled s atomic orbital called SS overlapping. Tell me example. Formation of hydrogen. Hydrogen H2. Tell me how H2 molecule is formed. One hydrogen atom of s orbital, another hydrogen atom of s orbital overlap, they form HH bond. But we know that hydrogen atom has how many electron? One electron, therefore it is a 1s1. It is also 1s1. Okay, this s orbital has one electron. Which orbital? S orbital. Therefore s orbital is spherical. So take one electron. I'll take clockwise. Here s orbital is spherical. Take spherical. It is unpaired electron anti-clockwise. Come on, tell me these two overlap. What they form? Covalent bond. So this is a overlapping portion, right? SS overlapping. Next, SP overlapping. Come on, tell me. So what is SP overlapping? If the overlapping of orbital takes place between half filled s orbital, half filled p orbital, of course both are have unpaired electron, that to opposite spin. That is the condition is common. So therefore, if the overlapping of orbital takes place, if the overlapping of orbital takes place between half filled s orbital and half filled p atomic orbital, right, called sp overlapping. Can you tell me example? Example for sp overlapping is formation of HF, formation of HF molecule. Even you can take HCl also. Example, right? Come on, tell me formation of HF molecule. How HF molecule form? H plus F gives rise to HF covalent bond. Then hydrogen has how many electrons? 1s1. Come on, tell me fluorine atomic number is 9, right? Its electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. 5 no, 9. Okay, 2p5. Now, can you tell me 2p5? This 2p5 can I write like this? P orbital has, it is a, of course, px, py, pz. So in px, py, pz there are how many electron? 5. You just fill 5 electron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now tell me px orbital, py orbital, pz orbital. So which orbital is having unpaired electron? Pz. Therefore I will take pz orbital is like this. Okay, so therefore now orbital diagram. S orbital has spherical shape, 1 electron. Next, so here I am drawing only pz, I am not drawing px, py, pz. Okay, if you want you can write, but here overlapping I want to show only pz. So this pz has 1 unpaired electron now. Understand? Then the overlapping between which orbital? S orbital, it is a pz orbital. So therefore this overlapping is called pz overlapping. Clear? Next, third type of overlapping is pp overlapping. Come on, tell me. So what is the definition of pp overlapping? If the overlapping takes place between two p atomic orbitals, right? Whether they should be completely filled or half filled or what? Half filled. They should be half filled. So therefore, if the overlapping takes place between, write down. If the overlapping takes place between two half filled p atomic orbitals. So if the overlapping takes place between two half filled p atomic orbitals called pp overlapping. Example, formation of kinetic F2, Cl2, Br2 or halogens. Come on, tell me how F2 is formed. F plus F gives rise to FF covalent bond. So what is the atomic number of fluorine? Fluorine 9. Therefore its electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. 5, just now written, no? In 2p5 there are 5 electrons in px, py, pz. Now how the distribution of electron? So same thing we have written here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So tell me which p orbitals are completely filled? Px, py. Right. Since px, py completely filled, whether they involved in overlapping? So according to VBT, which orbital can overlap? Only orbital having unpaired electrons. Unpaired electron. Not completely filled, not empty. So therefore, now each fluorine has pz, no? If I add one more fluorine also, same pz. So therefore, 2 fluorine having pz orbitals. I'll take, this is a pz orbital of 1 fluorine. Right. Another pz orbital of another fluorine. Right. It is also pz. Come on, tell me. They undergo overlapping. They form a covalent bond. So this is what? 2 unpaired, paired electrons. So this is called pz overlapping. One question. Done. Which of the following molecule involved? Which of the following molecule involved? Involved? Yes, pz overlapping. Which of the following molecule involved? Yes, pz overlapping. A, Cl2, B, H2, C, Hi, D. Tell me. Br2, which is Hi, because H has s orbital, I has pz orbital. Okay, so like this you should identify which molecule have which kind of overlapping. Okay, next, right, note important for question. Note important this. Listen, see, overlapping of orbital classified into 3 types. We have studied SS, SP and PP overlapping, but there is a one more kind of overlapping also. So the overlapping of orbital again classified into 3 types. It is based on like phase or sign or even direction of overlapping. So based on direction of overlapping or sign of overlapping or phase of overlapping, they are classified into 3 types. 1, positive overlapping, 2, negative overlapping, and 3, zero overlapping. This question was asked in previously NEET exam. Which of the following has zero overlapping? They have given the diagrams, right? So this classification is based on what? One is sign, second one is nothing but phase, nothing but it is a direction. Right on. Based on, right under note, based on sign over or based on sign or phase over or direction of overlapping, direction of overlapping. The overlapping of orbital is classified into 3 types. The overlapping of orbital classified into 3 types. 1, positive overlapping. positive overlapping over, or it is also called in phase overlapping. Positive overlapping over, or in phase overlapping. Okay. Next we have negative and zero, that we'll study later. Let's complete this first. Positive overlapping. See here, the name itself giving meaning, positive or in phase overlapping. Do you know, we study orbital in atomic structure. Orbital has sign, no? Like for example, take sign nothing but what do you say? Wave function. Orbital has two wave functions, right? This orbital can be represented wave like this, no? It has wave function positive, it has wave function is negative, right? Even like wave, it has wave function positive and negative wave function. It is not a sign, it is not a charge. Wave function psi. Like similarly, if you take s orbital has always positive wave function. Next, if you take p orbital, right here, p orbital, it has one lobe is positive wave function, another lobe is negative wave function, right? So is this charge or what does shows it is? It shows very good amplitude. It is not a charge. It's not that it is a negative charge lobe, it is a positive charge lobe, not like that. It just shows what? Amplitude or wave function. Like, so therefore orbitals have wave function, right? So about this we'll study in atomic structure in detail, but now remember orbital has wave function. Next, see in positive overlapping, so we have SS overlapping is always a positive overlapping, and S PZ overlapping, and third one is PZ overlapping. So these three overlapping comes under positive overlapping, as well as they are axial positive and axial overlapping. Next, positive and axial overlapping. Now I want positive and sideways overlapping. Do you know SS overlapping is always axial overlapping? Why? When two S atomic orbital overlap, they overlap always along the internuclear axis. Next, yes, PZ is a internuclear axis, no? PZ has internuclear axis. S orbital always has internuclear axis because of spherical shape. Therefore, S orbital, PZ orbital, they overlap always along the internuclear axis. Therefore, it is a axial overlapping. Finally, PZ is always internuclear axis overlap. Why? PZ has internuclear axis, this PZ has internuclear axis. Therefore, the overlapping between these two orbital always gives what? Axial overlapping. So therefore, remember these three overlapping forms what? Axial overlapping. Of course, we write positive. Next, I want positive as well as sideways overlapping. So one PX, it is a sideways overlapping. Overlapping takes place sideways, and PY also sideways overlapping. So therefore, now these two, they are axial and positive. Sorry, not sideways, axial, sideways. Positive and sideways overlapping. Okay. So therefore, yeah, let's see the diagram here. Now first is SS overlapping. I want to write positive and axial. Come on, tell me. S orbital spherical shape. Take another S orbital is spherical shape. Right? It is a positive overlapping, SS overlapping. Right? Next is S PZ. S orbital is spherical shape. Next, PZ orbital is dumbbell, no? Dumbbell shape. Now tell me, here PX, PY, PZ, these three have two lobes. In two lobes, one lobe has positive, another lobe has negative. This positive portion should be overlap with positive portion. Then only it is called positive overlapping, and After overlapping, it forms bond is like this. Next, PZ PZ. When you say PZ PZ positive overlapping, PZ is a spherical shape, right? Take another is a PZ spherical shape. Now two, not spherical shape, sorry, dumbbell, no. PZ dumbbell, PZ dumbbell. When two PZ dumbbell shape orbitals overlap, come on, tell me. Huh? Double dumbbell. That is d orbital. So this is a PZ PZ axial overlapping. Come on, tell me. Here question is this: why they are called positive or in phase axial overlapping? We understood that why they are called axial overlapping. Why they are called axial overlapping? Because all three overlapping takes place along the internuclear axis. You just remember SS overlapping is always internuclear axis, because for S orbital, you know, it has three axes, no? Z axis, Y axis, X axis. Because of its spherical structure, so in whichever direction, you know, this S orbital move, that direction is called nothing but we call Z axis. Right. So therefore, SS overlapping always axial overlapping. There is no sideways overlapping possible. Next, SPs are also always axial. Why? S is a spherical shape. PZ is oriented along the Z axis. Z axis is a internuclear axis. Next, PZ also internuclear axis overlapping. Therefore, these three are positive and axial overlapping. Now let's see positive and sideways overlapping. See, let us take one simple example. I'll show you with. Okay, see, you just imagine if you see the orbitals of, you know, P, Px, Py, Pz, how they appear like this, no? So three orbital appear like this. If I take it's a Pz, okay, Px, Py, Pz. Now how three orbitals are oriented? Very good. Perpendicular to each other. What is the angle between any two? 90 degrees, means perpendicular. Now if I take this green portion is a what? PZ. So Z axis is always internuclear axis. Now if Z axis is internuclear axis, you just imagine if two atom approaches to like this, approaches to each other, which portion first overlap? PZ, PZ, because first PZ of one atom, PZ of another atom meet. They meet together, they overlap, they form what? Sigma bond. That means when any two atom approaches to each other, there is a first formation of sigma bond. Sigma bond is stronger, of course, right, because it has maximum overlapping. Now next is sideways. Then after forming sigma bond like this, it has again PY, PZ. No, sorry, PY, PX. It's one atom. So another atom also has PX like this. Another atom also has PY like this, because already PZ formed bond like this. Okay, once PZ form a bond here, now it completely sticked on. Now therefore there is a one more orbital here, one more orbital like this. Now question is, then the overlapping between PX of one atom, PX of another atom is what? There must be a sideways. There is no possibility of axial. If it want to have axial overlapping, what it has to done? It has to, you know, break the bond here. It has to come like this. Adalva, a complete bond breaker idhar barbeku. It's not possible. Therefore, what happened? PX of one atom, PX of another atom, they just bent towards each side, towards middle. They bent. Right, so due to bend, what happened? There is a small portion is overlap, not a large portion. So that is a partial overlapping is always weak, formation of weak bond, formation of pi bond, and there is a small portion is overlap. So therefore, now tell me, here we are writing PX, PX, PY, PY. This is always which overlapping? sideways. It never become what? Axial. Right. Now therefore, now I want to show positive. Therefore, what I do is I'll take px is like this. Px of one atom plus px of another atom. Sorry sir, negative. Px of another atom. So therefore here, this is always positive overlapping because same sign overlap, no? When same sign overlap, which is called positive overlapping. So this portion overlap, no? This portion overlap. Right? So therefore px, px. So this is a px, px sigma bond formed. Sorry, pi bond formed. Then similarly py. I want to take py is like this. Come on, tell me. So py of one atom overlap with py of another atom. So again there is a overlapping of bond like this, no? So this is also what? Positive overlapping but sideways overlapping. So in exam they may give diagrams. Which of the following is a positive overlapping or axial overlapping, positive sideways overlapping? So these are possibilities. Come on, tell me. Negative overlapping or outface overlapping possible in which following cases? 1. Here also let us take first axial overlapping. Okay, can you tell me SS overlapping? Is it SS overlapping gives negative overlapping? No. Why? I told you SS overlapping is always positive overlapping because of spherical structure. So s orbital has one orbital and its spherical shape. Because of spherical shape, its wave function always positive. S orbital has only positive wave function. It has no negative wave function. Okay. Have you seen that in s orbital we write like this, one corner positive, one corner negative, right? No. We write either negative or positive. Which we write any one sign? No. If you write negative also, nothing wrong. Negative, negative. It is also positive overlapping only. The meaning of positive overlapping is nothing but if overlapping takes place between same kind of what? Wave function. Same kind of wave function. The wave function negative, wave function negative. It is also positive overlapping. Positive, positive. It is also, but positive, negative. This is a not. This is called what? Outphase overlapping or negative overlapping. So therefore, the first option is SS overlapping doesn't come. Next, can I write SPZ overlapping? Possible. Next, can I write PZ overlapping is possible. Next, this is axial. PZ. Similarly here, sideways overlapping. Come on, tell me. So which combinations gives sideways? PX, PY. Other than these two, is it any other possibilities? No. So therefore, 1 PX overlapping possible, and second one is PY is possible. Now draw the diagrams. Okay. First one is PZ. Tell me, S orbital take positive sign and p orbital, it should be what? Negative. So this is a s orbital, it is a pz, right? So this is a which overlapping? Negative overlapping. Is it negative overlapping leads to form bond? No. Anti-bond. Positive overlapping always gives bond? No. Negative overlapping does not form bond, it form anti-bond, that we study MOT theory, right? So this negative overlapping does not form any bond. Similarly, yes, PZ over PZ, come on, tell me. pz of one atom, take positive negative, pz of another atom, negative positive, right? So this is a pz, pz. So this is also negative overlapping. Okay, these two are negative overlapping as well as what? Which overlapping? Axial overlapping. Why they are axial overlapping? Overlapping takes place along the internuclear axis. Very good. Next, similarly, come on, draw this. Px, px, py, py. Px, px, this is similar. Px of one orbital and another px of another orbital, but negative overlapping here. It does not lead to form a covalent bond. Next, it is py, finally zero overlapping. Zero overlapping. So what is the meaning of zero overlapping? Overlapping is not at all possible. No, that is the meaning of zero. Overlapping is not possible. Okay, come on, tell me. Overlapping is not possible in case of s orbital and px or py. Come on, tell me why. So why the overlapping is not possible in between s px or s py, whereas overlapping is possible in s pz. So overlapping is possible s pz because s is a spherical shape, it has internuclear axis, pz is a internuclear axis, therefore they move along the internuclear axis, they overlap maximum, they form the bond, that's all right. But in case of px py, yes, is not possible. The reason is s orbital is a spherical in shape, okay, it has wave function positive or negative. Then take the px or py, px or py like this, no, anything px or py. Then tell me, so when px py approaches, what may be the possibility? The possibility is this, no, s orbital positive and it should become like this or not? It means the positive wave function of s orbital should overlap with both positive as well as negative, right? Then you may have doubt, why not this s orbital comes like this? Barbadala, s orbital may approach from this side, no, then positive positive overlap, no. Very good. If s orbital comes like this, this is, we do not say px, we say pz. That is possible. But if s orbital comes in this direction, it become pz, it become, yes, that is in phase overlapping, that is possible. Do you understand? The beginning I told you, orbital, whichever, you know, the way they pass, whichever direction they pass, that direction taken as a internuclear axis. That's what. If s orbital comes as it is like this, now this is the possibility, this is not. Overlapping is not at all possible. Zero overlapping. Next, second one is, in second case, let us take px of one orbital, py of another orbital. This is also not possible. Come on, tell me why. So this is, you can explain like this. Atom has three orbital px, py, pz. Okay, let us take, it's one atom px, py, pz. Yellow is pz, right? Now we know that pz possible, that's leave it. Px possible, py also possible. Now question is whether px py overlapping possible or not. Okay, if it is not at all possible, that is zero overlapping. It is not at all possible. Why? You just imagine, okay, it is a bond formed between these two. Okay, now we have, it is a py px, then the px of one atom, py of another atom, how they can overlap, tell me? This is the px of one atom, no? Px of one atom, this is what? Py of another atom. How they are oriented? Perpendicular to each other. Px is on x-axis, py is on y-axis. They are exactly what? Perpendicular to each other. That's what, there is no question of overlapping, right? There may be a possibility of px py, but px of one atom, py of another atom, so no question of overlapping, that is zero overlapping. Therefore these two overlapping of zero overlapping. Draw the structure. So px, you can take x-axis, okay, on x-axis, okay, py, it is something, you know, like this. Take negative or positive, no possibility, no overlapping, so which is called zero overlapping. Types of covalent bond. Based on overlapping or based on direction of overlapping. Based on direction of overlapping, covalent bond again classified into two types. Based on direction of overlapping, covalent bond again classified into two types. One, sigma covalent bond, that is sigma bond, sigma covalent bond, it is also called sigma bond. 2, pi covalent bond, pi bond. Right, sigma bond, pi bond. Come on, tell me, what is sigma bond? So sigma bond is the bond which is formed by which overlapping? Axial overlapping, right? The bond which is formed by axial overlapping, it is also called head-on head overlapping, or end-on-end overlapping is called what? Sigma covalent bond. Therefore a sigma covalent bond is always formed by axial overlapping or head-to-head overlapping or end-on-end overlapping. Okay, then what is axial overlapping? The overlapping of orbital takes place along the internuclear axis is called axial overlapping. Okay, similarly what about pi bond? The covalent bond which is formed by sideways overlapping, right? Sideways overlapping of atomic orbital is called pi bond. So a pi bond is formed. So therefore sigma bond is formed by axial overlapping, pi bond is formed by sideways overlapping. Which overlapping is called sideways overlapping? Overlapping perpendicular to the internuclear axis, right? So overlapping perpendicular to the internuclear axis is called what? Sideways overlapping. Sideways overlapping always gives pi bond. Okay, write down sigma bond. The covalent bond which is formed by axial overlapping of atomic orbital. Axial overlapping of atomic orbital called sigma covalent bond. have written what is axial overlapping? Not? All right, one second. Tell me, what is axial overlapping? The overlapping takes place along the internuclear axis. The overlapping takes place along internuclear axis. Okay, so if the overlapping takes place along the internuclear axis called axial overlapping, then what is the meaning of internuclear axis? In a molecule, z axis is arbitrarily fixed as a in a molecule, z axis is arbitrarily fixed as internuclear axis. Right. The following overlapping gives sigma bond. Come on, tell me, which following overlapping gives sigma bond? The following overlapping gives sigma bond. Which overlapping? 1. Very good. SS overlapping always gives sigma bond. No? Can you get pi bond SS overlapping? Why? SS overlapping is always axial overlapping. S orbital spherical, both are spherical shape, they always overlap axially. Next, S orbital, PZ orbital, it is also always sigma bond. Next, one more combination, PZ always gives sigma bond. So therefore, these three combinations can form sigma bond. Next, pi bond. Come on, tell me, what is the pi bond? The covalent bond which is formed by sideways or lateral overlapping of atomic orbital. Here, axial overlapping of atomic orbital, there lateral overlapping, right? So the covalent bond which is formed by sideways or lateral overlapping of atomic orbital, right? So the covalent bond which is formed by sideways or lateral overlapping of atomic orbital, then what is the meaning of sideways? Sideways overlapping, come on, which overlapping is called sideways overlapping? The overlapping of orbital takes place perpendicular to the internuclear axis. Write down. The overlapping of orbital takes place perpendicular to the internuclear axis. Again, the following overlapping gives pi bond. Come on, tell me, which overlapping gives pi bond? Shweta? Px, right? Px of one atom overlap with Px of another atom, which is always pi bond formation. Next, tell me, Py, of course, Py also gives pi bond. Next, any other possibilities? Can you get Px of one atom, Py of other atom? If you take Px of one atom, Py, no overlapping. Why? Both are perpendicular to each other. No question of overlapping, zero overlapping. Next, if I take Px of one atom, Pz of another atom, possible? No, it is also perpendicular to each other. Next, py of another atom, pz of another atom? No. So all are zero overlappings. Okay. Next example, that on formation of oxygen. Formation of oxygen. O2. Come and tell me how the O2 formed. O plus O gives rise to O2 molecule, right? So if you take oxygen atom, its atomic number is 8, electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. Another oxygen atom, same, 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. So write the orbital diagram. 2p4, no, 1s2, 2s2, they are completely filled, leave it. Then 2p4, how many electrons? 1, 2, 3, 4. Here 2p4, these two are completely filled, leave it. 2p4, it is 1, 2, 3, 4. Come and tell me px, py, pz, px, py, pz. Right? Now tell me, in each oxygen atom there are how many unpaired electrons? 2 unpaired electrons. Therefore what I do is I write these 3 orbitals right here, px, py, pz. Okay, so this is a x axis, y axis, z axis, y, it is x. Come and tell me, along x axis s orbital, along the y axis y orbital, along the z axis z orbital. So which orbital has completely filled electron? X, no. Therefore there are paired electron, it does not involve bonding. Next, py, pz. Py has 1 unpaired, pz has 1 unpaired. Now similarly, so take another oxygen atom, it is also same. So this is a x axis, it is y axis, z axis, right? So which orbital is completely filled? Which orbital is completely filled? X. Therefore this x is completely filled. Now here unpaired is pz. Okay, it should be like this. And one more is py, no? Okay. Come on, tell me. First, which overlap? First, pz overlap or not? After overlapping pz, which overlap now? Py of one atom, py of another atom. So therefore, we can draw the oxygen molecule structure is this. Draw like this. One second. Okay. So this is a pz, pz. Okay. Pi bond. What is left here? Px, px, which is having paired electron, does not involved in bond formation. So therefore O2 has how many bonds? It is sigma bond, it is pi bond, right? Yes sir.